Hey everybody, Mr. Youngman here, and today we're going to be looking at designing and capturing our flat lay photos. To start things off, I've set up two softbox lights, one on either side of our colored paper here. Now, if you need a refresher on how to set up these lights, check out the link up top, and that will show you how you can set up these lights if you need a refresher. But for now, we have lights set up on either side already. I've also already picked out the items for my flat lay and set them aside so that we'll be able to quickly access them as we're assembling our flat lay. Now last, this camera up top here, this is being used for the sake of capturing this video. So this is not part of the flat lay, this is not part of your design or my design. This is just here to help us capture the process and show how to make this work. So this is capturing a top-down video so that you guys can see it and follow along as we're designing our flat lay. We're going to go ahead and turn on our lights now. On full power, just on both sides here. And I am having to rely on a lot of the automatic features of our camcorder here. So I apologize that I'm probably going to be a little bit dark as we're shooting this project, but you'll just have to do your best to follow along. Now we're going to start arranging our items here. And the theme that I've chosen for my flat lay is technology. So I've chosen a laptop, a microphone, some headphones, an SD card, card reader, a camera, and a folder. So a lot of office type stuff, a lot of technology oriented stuff that we can all be scavenged from around the classroom. Now we're going to switch over to my top-down view here, and you should be able to see this flat lay come together. So let's start getting things arranged. Now, in one of our previous videos, we talk about styling blocks. And for today, we do have a couple of these blocks available that you're going to be able to use to prop up some items. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to kind of set these aside because I know I want to have my laptop lifted up in this photo. So again, just kind of arranging things as best as I can. We're going to prop this laptop up, and we'll have to be kind of careful here as we're balancing it. And there we go, balance has been achieved. Now, in the video, they talk about using that block, that styling block, in order to add depth to our photo. So naturally, we're going to want something positioned underneath it. In this case, I'm going to use my folder right here. Maybe give it a little bit of an angle here, just to add a little bit of style. And I very intentionally chose this red folder because it's going to pop out from the paper and give it a little bit of a color splash. So very nice there. Next, let's maybe add on a little bit of depth to our laptop here. So maybe we want a card reader, maybe we want an SD card, and we'll just kind of whimsically set those aside here for our flat lay. Next, I'm going to grab my camera, and I'll put this over here. And I'm kind of intentionally pointing this inward, so it's facing the opposite direction of our other pieces of equipment. Just again, kind of mixing it up and making things look a little bit different so things can stand out or pop out as we move along. Next, how about I'm going to grab my headphones right here, something like that, I think maybe. And then we're going to go ahead, maybe set this guy off to the side here. And again, we're just kind of playing with angles, seeing what we think will look nice, seeing what we think looks right. So there might not necessarily be a right or wrong answer or rhyme and reason, but we are just going to kind of set things down until we get a design that looks visually nice. And when we've done this right, this should look nice on its own. Even without taking a picture, this should look like a nice arrangement of items here. So that's kind of how you know that you've done it right, is if looking at it, it's like, oh, this looks like it was carefully crafted and carefully designed. Now that I have all of my items laid out, I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera. And we are going to be using Program Auto mode. So again, if you need a refresher on that subject, again, check the link at the top, and that will remind you what Program Auto is, why it's important, and how to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera to the photo mode, making sure it's in P mode for Program Auto. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my red button to see what the camera sees. And I'm just going to position my camera up above, being really careful with the strap to make sure it's not in our shot, and being really careful not to show the edge of our paper roll. So there's my first photo, and if I put it up on screen, you can probably see that I cut off some of the edges or showed a little bit of the edges of the paper roll by accident. So I'm just going to, again, take my second photo. And it's always a good idea to take a couple photos here, just in case some of them don't look great. And we can adjust that program auto exposure, try shooting some that are a little bit brighter, some that are a little bit darker, just to make sure we have lots of options that we can choose from. And maybe we want to try rotating the camera a little bit too, to see how that looks. So there's not necessarily going to be a right or wrong setup here, but we do want to make sure that we are trying a bunch of different angles, trying different things, just to see what looks good. And again, being careful with that paper roll. Don't want that peeping in. And in this case, I think some of my first photos were some of my best photos, and that's okay. Sometimes that will be the case, or sometimes you'll find some things that you can improve along the way. But we're going to go ahead and get these transferred over to our computer and see how these came out, get everything torn down, and that's going to wrap up the shooting part of our flat lay assignment. So as you can see, the actual shooting is really, really quick, but just the craft part, the part you need to really be careful of, is arranging your items so that it looks visually appealing. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's make sure we get our equipment torn down and put away, and I will see you all back in class. Bye now.